What's up, CJ Kid 1231 back again with another hip hop album review. This time we are reviewing Rhapsody's Eve album. Wow, this album, man. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna start this because this album is crazy. I know I'm saying that about a lot of these, but this one in particular I'll start by saying this. It's a very, very powerful album, and it speaks on the struggles, the beauty, and the strengths of black women and just women in general. So I don't want to make it seem like it's only towards black women, but a lot of it has to do with the struggles of the black woman and what she has to go through and everything. But I think me saying that is doing it an injustice because it's a lot more deeper than that. But we'll get into the basic stuff before then. Well, let's talk about. I want to say one thing. After seeing, because I want to talk about Ninth Wonder for a second. After seeing where he started at and where he's at with Rhapsody now, if I had to make a comparison, I would say that if Ninth Wonder was Dr. Dre and the Justice League with Little Brother and the away team and all that, if they were NWA, then when he left, then he found Rhapsody if Dr. Dre was if Ninth Wonder was Dr. Dre and Justice League was NWA, then when he leaves, Rhapsody is his Snoop Dogg and Jamla is his Death Row. Like the chemistry that Rhapsody and Ninth Wonder have and the way Ninth Wonder laced her with the beats on this album are crazy. I should have also started by saying that I didn't listen to any Rhapsody prior to this beyond some tracks that she had coming out like earlier in the 2010s. I know her first album came out in 2014. I think she has a bunch of mixtapes before then. And her second album, Layla's Wisdom, came out like 2017 and it was nominated for Grammy and all that. But man, the production, we can talk about the production. I mean, Ninth Wonder, Crisis, Knots, Eric G and Mark Bird. I'm not gonna lie, with the exception of one Eric G beat, a lot of the stuff that Eric G did on here I wasn't really a fan of. It sounded too commercial. Not that commercial is bad, but it just didn't vibe with what the rest of the album was sounding like. All the features killed it. Lakely 47, again, she was on Common's Let Love album, and it looked like she's about to be on another future classic album. Again, this is it's just me, it's too soon to say, but K. Roosevelt, D'Angelo, Jizza, Mirba, Ella Varner, Sarah J, Queen Latifah, J. Cole, PJ Morton, all these people fucking came with their game faces on. Nobody slouched in any department whatsoever. All the contributions to this album from Rhapsody and the collaborators and the producers were all, with the exception of course of Eric G, but that's my opinion. I'm not saying that it was super trash or anything like that. It just wasn't vibing with me for what the story of the rest of the album was trying to tell. So yeah, beyond the fact that she really goes in depth and takes her time, and the interludes that are on this album that's done by I believe her name is Rena, because she does a track called Rena's Interlude, which we'll talk about. But if that's the name of the female that's been doing these little interludes talking about the black woman struggle and how black women are looked at around the world, if that's her name, then she did an amazing job with those interludes too. The interludes on here are very, very telling about what goes through the mind of a black woman and women in general. Like I said, it'd be in the service of me to talk about this as just only a black woman album. I feel like this album should be listened to by everybody, especially men, if you want to understand how you should treat a woman, definitely. But I think every woman should hear this album, and so should men. And yeah, there's nothing else for me to say. It's a very amazing album. I'm at a loss for words based on how amazing this is. I think if we go into the favorite tracks, I'll be able to say a lot more and be more comfortable, because right now, there's nothing else to say. This album is amazing, and I'll definitely have more to say as we get through the track. So let's talk about the first one, Nina. These are my favorite tracks, which is basically all of them except for like 3 or 4. But let's go through it. Let me see. One, excuse me, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 out of 16 tracks. Alright, let's do this. Nina talks about herself and where she's at now with some backstory. You know, in the beginning of the first verse, I think she tells where she came up. I think she grew up, because I think it showed a street called Crown Hill or something like that, or Snow Hill. And she said, I grew up on the hill, but it was sunken or something like that. But an amazing track. Aaliyah, this is the one that I think Eric G did that I think is the only one I like from him on this album. I love the way that he incorporates Aaliyah's vocals and the way that the beat sounds as well, and how Rhapsody talks about love and how it relates to the woman in search of a man. Are you the right man and stuff like that. Oprah is one of those braggadocious tracks with Lakely 47, and it's talking about cars. Not all of it, but she does brag on it a bit. I'll say that because I don't want to say anything else that may discredit or may be wrong information. But the hook does say dollars on dollars on dollars on dollars circulate and all that stuff. So, but it's still an amazing track, and there's an interlude by Rena at the end. So that's always dope. Oprah is one of. Oh, now we haven't talked about Oprah. I'm sorry. Whoopi. Whoopi is the song where she basically talks about she's not afraid to get in with anybody that gets in her way or that basically comes at her wrong. Like, don't think that because she's a woman she won't mess you up, and call some of her sisters to come and mess you up too. That really shows a strong female unity, especially when it comes to problems. Like, they can all get together and come at you as a force, and that they should be coming at you as a force instead of being separate. So that's a very aggressive track, but aggressive in a positive way. It's like a unity aggressive track, if that makes any sense. Tyra talks about how beautiful she is, and it empowers all black women to say that you are beautiful. Don't let people look you down and say that you're ugly and stuff. So I mean, there's that. Maya, that production, in the same way that they used Aaliyah's vocals as part of the beat for the Aaliyah track, they used Erykah Badu's voice in the same exact way, and I think that shit was awesome. I can't pronounce this name, the one that features Jizza, which you might as well call Liquid Swords Part 2, which Jizza destroys it, and Rap does as well. I think it's one of the best tracks on the album. It was my favorite track just because of how raw and the MC skill level that was displayed on here, and the video was dope too. But I like it. I'm not saying that it could switch between number 1 and number 2 for me as far as favorite tracks go, but that shit is dope. I love that. And Reina's interlude is basically a beautiful cry out to black women on trust, and how the black woman essentially has to realize that she is I think it says in the interlude that she is basically a central enemy in every part of the map that they're in, or women in general, but black women. And how they feel like they need trust, and how a man should supply the trust, and how women should supply the trust with each other. So that's always dope. Michelle this is the one that I think is kind of like my favorite, just because of the upbeat of it. Even though it should sound commercial, it doesn't at the same time. It's just one of those things where it's just right, and it's basically a ladies' night out track. I just dig it because of the vibe and the instrumental and all that. And Knots actually produced this too, so shout out to Knots. Eamon, which is a love letter to ladies again. It basically talks about how ladies should, again, similar to basically, I'm trying to look for the track right now. I'm looking at my notes right now, guys. Where is it? So yeah, this one even is kind of like Tyra. We're talking about empowering black women and how they're beautiful. Except this time it features Sir and Jid, and it's actually funny because at the end, Jid, after he empowers black women, he refers to him as a bitch, and Rapsody kind of checks him like, "Who are you calling the bitch?" So that's funny. I laughed at that. It was Hashi, but I guess it's like the female pharaoh. This track, yeah, I'm sorry if my face was still, but this track, I'm not gonna lie, I almost dropped a tear just because Queen Latifah still has it after all this time. Now, if you don't know, her last hip hop track, I think, was it was that 1998 album that had that song "It's Alright." I don't know if she came back to it afterwards, but afterwards she started doing jazz, singing, and focused more on her acting career. So to take all that time off from actual rapping and to come back just as hard, and the fact that she's sort of like passing the torch to Rhapsody, that was beautiful. And the beat was so it was so like it was just so fitting for the song too. Like, man, and one line hit me, and I'll explain. This one line that Queen Latifah said hit me in my fucking heart. Another black rain come to water and nourish the crop. That's why we flourish on top. Now, the reason why that hit me is because I consider Queen Latifah Black Rain to be one of the greatest, if not one of, not just one of the greatest female hip hop albums of all time, but just a great hip hop album in general. Like, for me, in my personal opinion, I think that's the greatest female hip hop album ever from a female MC. To me. And after hearing this album and hearing that, I think Queen Latifah kind of feels the same way, and it's kind of a confirmation for me, like, because I feel like when I heard this, I'm like, damn, this could be up there with Black Rain. And the fact that Queen Latifah said that, whether she meant to say that as a passing of the torch or as a notification to her, like, you got a Black Rain right here, like, it still works for me. Like, that to me tells me that she knows that Rhapsody is the future, and that if Queen Latifah ever decides to stop and go fully focus on acting and never rap again, then Rhapsody will pick up the torch where she left off and basically continue to inspire female MCs down the road. So, I mean, yeah, that one was like confirmation. Like, that's it. It's confirmed. No, nothing else needed. So Joyner, J. Cole kills it very, very deep. It does sound like something that J. Cole might have recorded a long time ago. Even his vocals on this song sound like a little like they got it from a recorder a little bit, but still it's a really deep verse. And if you think J. Cole kills it, Rhapsody destroys it. And she talks about basically, you know, men needing to teach the kids and how instead of, you know, worrying about dollars, teach your kids how to multiply the dollars. And, you know, and she also talks about how all the rap legends that she looked up to, they're now looking at her. So it's kind of like educational, bragging, and just some truth. All of that in her verse, and it's a very long verse too. So hopefully, hopefully you have the stomach to listen to all that. It's very good material though, so please do yourself a favor. And then the last track, Afeni, I really thought that it was interesting that instead of taking the acapella from Keep Your Head Up, she took Pac's acapellas from when he was in a classroom and he was reciting the whole Keep Your Head Up first verse to either a high school or preschool. I'm not sure. But I remember seeing that video, and I knew that the vocals here came from that video. And I think that every man should listen to this track because she basically talks about how, or she basically asks the question in two verses why men treat women the way they do, as far as like, you know, badly, beating on them, cheating on them, you know, for what reason, and that they need to realize that that women are just like men. They have feelings, you know what I mean? They feel like they need to be treated more as equals, and that they need to be treated with love, and that the men should be their protectors, not their attackers. You know what I mean? And at the end, Reina's like last interlude on the album, where she speaks about, you know, basically talking about how men shouldn't just blame their broken soul and the sadness that they're feeling inside, and use that as an excuse to treat women bad or let it out on a woman. Like, it's really, really deep. And man, I think that's all the tracks, all my favorite tracks. So that's like 13 out of 16. So there's 3. I mean, in closing, I guess I should just say, man, if you are a fan of hip hop music, especially deep music that's trying to say something, like a whole album that tells a story and tells a message, and all that stuff. If you're a fan of golden era hip hop, this is for you right here. This album, and man, I can't put my words together right now. This shit was amazing. Yeah, man, just get it, listen to it, digest it. You know, men, you get it. Men get the album. Women, everybody get the album, and just sit and listen. This is like a class. This is like a semester of school in an album, as far as like women are concerned, and you know what they go through. Honestly, like everybody came with it here. I mean, I'm not even gonna say anymore because I don't know what else to say. This album is amazing. That's it. That's all I'm saying. So I guess it's time to rank it now, like out of 5. Oh man, this is another album that I feel deserves a 5 out of 5. And I want to give it a 5 out of 5, but shit. It's like, because the 3 commercial tracks that I feel kind of ruin it for me, should I let it? I mean, it's still great even with those, but God, man, today's just a fucking day with these albums. The Ginger album and now this. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but you know what? Fuck it. This album, Rapsody, Eve, 2019. Alright, fuck it. I'm sorry, guys. I can't do this shit. I can't. I can't. Oh, God. There's just so much on it that warrants a 5 with a bit that kind of could bring it down. But, you know what? 5 out of 5. This album's a 5. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 5 out of 5. I can't neglect the interludes, the messaging, the tracks, especially the second half. The first half is great. The second half is amazing. All the features killed it. The production from Ninth and Crisis and Knots, even Mark Bird. I mean, despite Eric G's 3 tracks they produced I don't like, everything else is just amazing. The singing, the sampling is like, I'm sorry, guys. 5 out of 5. I can't. I cannot for the life of me think of a reason why I would give it anything lower. I can, but even then, everything else outweighs it. There's so much good that outweighs the negative on here. This is the second 5 out of 5 album I have given an album ever in this whole YouTube history thing that I'm doing here. Like, I've only been reviewing albums for like a month, and this is a 5 out of 5. Not counting the Tribe stuff, because that's like classic. That's like in the class of its own. But out of the 2019 albums, Common Love, Rhapsody, Eve. 2 5 out of 5 albums. I'm sorry, guys. But anyways, we took up enough time. Time's about to run out. But in closing, love you guys. If you like it, you can comment. Only subscribe if you want to. Subscriptions are earned, not asked for. So with that being said, we're going to come up next. It's probably going to be that Saint Dog Bozo album. Then Little Brother. Then A$AP Ferg. Then Snoop Dogg, and then Alchemist, and then I have to check out Ugly God and Black Milk, and everybody else that I get to check out in the month of August. Young Jeezy, Rick Ross, Quality Control, I think. So, yeah, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Time's running out, and be safe. And hopefully you're here for the next hip hop album review.